Welcome to another episode of People in Progress. I am very excited today to sit down with the one and only Linda Atkins. Linda was on the board that called me here to be pastor, and she was then our NMI president, which stands for what, Linda?
Nazarene Missionary.
That's right. International, and the I is always international. That's right. And so Linda has had quite a lot happen in her life, and God has brought her through a whole lot, and so I'm excited for her to share part of her story with us today. And so, Linda, will you tell us just where did you grow up? What did life look like for you growing up?
Well, growing up, my grandparents raised us. Mom was divorced and 4 kids, so we lived with my grandparents. He was military, and we ended up here because of Fort Hood. And then when Mom remarried, my dad, he had 4 boys, so there was 8 of us at the house. And we had so much fun. I mean, we lived in the country. There wasn't nobody around. We played the creek and, could stay out and not worry about it. So, But growing up, when Mom and Dad married, Dad didn't go to church. Grandma, she made sure us kids were in church.
Okay.
And if Mom had to work, then she always took us there. So we've always been, around the church revivals, anything that went on. Mm-hmm. Then when Mom married Dad, she started getting Dad to go to church. And so we ended up going to Memorial Baptist and Temple. And when I was about, 14, I decided I wanted to follow the Lord and got baptized. And then after I did that, I had a bunch of friends that went down. It seemed like you don't go down by yourself. You've got buddies that go with you.
Sure.
So I was saved about when I was 14.
14, okay. Yeah. So let me just revisit this. Your mom already had 4
Yes.
all girls?
No, 2 girls, 2 boys.
2 girls and 2 boys, and then she married a man who
4
also
boys.
had 4 boys.
Yes.
So there were 6 boys and 2 girls.
Yeah.
And who was in charge?
Me.
Were you the oldest of all of them?
No, I was the oldest out of Mom's kids.
Okay.
And then 4 older brothers that were older, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So like you were the Brady Bunch before there was a Brady Bunch.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Did you have your own theme song?
No.
No. All right. Well, that's cool. What did you do for work? Are you retired now? I feel
Yes,
like you're
I'm
a person
retired.
who never will retire, but
Yeah,
so officially you're retired.
Yeah, right when COVID started,
Okay.
where I worked at, I had to go in the office because I had a hands-on job. And so we kind of talked about me coming and going, and we kind of mutually agreed that it'd be better if I didn't go. I was only working 4 hours.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What'd you do for work?
I was the insurance. I processed policies. Okay. When they'd send the applications in, I'd process, approve them, and send them back out.
Was that very detail-oriented work?
Yes, insurance. You had to keep up with everything changing.
Do you miss it?
Yes.
Okay. Is it the work you miss or the people you miss?
The people.
Yeah.
Yeah, people. And I run into a lot of people, HEB, Walmart. A lot of them tell me, I sure miss you, but I can still get to see them.
Sure. Just without the responsibility of showing up at work in the morning. That's awesome. Okay. Would you share with us any hobbies that you have, things that you're into?
Oh, yeah, I love to read, and I'd rather have a book in my hand than to read it, online or something. Okay. And I crochet and embroidery and knit and quilt, and because growing up, Grandma taught us girls how to do that.
Okay.
Even Louis and Roger can knit. They know how to knit.
Oh.
Because Grandma taught us how to do it, so we do it. And I cross stitch and do that diamond stuff. And
diamond stuff?
Yeah, it's like a paint by number, but it's got these little colored circle things, and you just put the color to the picture. So if the picture's blue, you put a blue diamond on it.
I see. And we're not talking about like actual diamonds here.
No,
It's just like the material, whatever they call that material. Okay. So, okay. I had not heard that. Cross stitch I heard before. My mom taught me how to cross stitch.
Oh, yeah.
Back when I was a young guy. So,
I love to cross stitch.
yeah. Well, that's cool. So cross stitching, reading. What do you like to read? What are some books that you're into?
Westerns, anything. I don't really like the romance, all that stuff. I'm not into that.
Okay. You need some action.
Yeah, but I'll read anything.
Okay.
Yeah. I love to
Even
read.
the instructions.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else about your growing up years that you want to
No,
share with
not
us?
really. It was a lot. It was a lot of work. And Mom was sick a lot, so me being the oldest girls, I had to step up and help. And Daddy'd tell me what to do, and he's the one that taught me how to cook. And we always talk about the first Thanksgiving we cooked, because it didn't turn out very good.
Oh, please tell us that story.
Yeah. I mean, we got everything done and the turkey stuffed and everything. Of course, we didn't pull the gizzards or anything out.
Oh,
So they got
okay.
cooked in there with the stuffing and stuff. And we didn't start it early enough because you got to cook it nearly all day.
Right.
Well, by the time everything else was ready, it was just getting started.
But you learned from that, right?
Yeah. And every morning I'd get up with Dad about 5, and I'd fix him breakfast while he got ready for work, and then I'd fix his lunch. And then after he was gone, I'd get everybody else up. We rode the bus. You have to be up early to catch the bus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where did you go? You go to school around here?
Yeah, Bonham, Temple
Okay.
High. Yeah.
So that was a high school when you were there. Okay, because it's Bonham Middle School now.
Yeah, Bonham Middle School and then Temple High.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I confused those two.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You went to Bonham for middle school and then Temple for high school. So you're a Wildcat.
Yep.
Okay.
My elementary, I went to Belton here. I can't remember what that place was that they tore down and built that HEB. And then now it's that exercise center.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know where you're talking about. Down across from First
Sixth
Baptist.
Street, yeah,
6th
yeah.
Street. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool deal. So you said your grandmother made sure you went to church.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's when you first came to know the Lord. You said that was about 14 years old.
14, yeah.
Man, so you're in like 7th or 8th grade. Mm-hmm. And was that like a I don't want to say wild change, but did it shift your perspective on life at all?
I guess with me going to church all the time, it was just natural. I didn't realize it was something I needed to do. So, I believed in God. I thought I was a Christian and everything, but I didn't realize that I needed to confess and then be baptized and
Okay.
all that kind of stuff. Grandma didn't push us to get baptized. All you need to do and whatever. They just kind of made sure we went to church. But I guess nowadays the pastors tell you need to do it. Back then, nobody said anything. They do the final song about coming down and stuff. I didn't have a clue what they were talking about, So, but like with going all the time, I knew I was a Christian. I just didn't know I had to take the steps to be one.
Okay. Yeah. So confession, just so everybody who's listening knows, confessing your sins, believing that Jesus is the Son of God, that he died for those sins, that God raised him again. I mean, when we put our faith and our trust, our confidence in that, that's what saves us. And then we get baptized not because that saves us, but because that's a picture of God saving us, of us being, if you do the immersion, which most of the time we do baptisms, it's, you get kind of laid down in the water backwards, which I guess is scary for some people. And then it's a picture of being laid down, the old you dies, and you're raised to new life with Christ. And so it's just an important picture that God's given us for, well, Jesus did it himself. He got baptized too, right?
That's true.
Yeah. So besides your grandma, was there anybody else, any pastors or, Sunday school teachers, youth group leaders that really influenced your walk with Jesus?
Well, Odell Harris, he was the pastor at the Belton Nazarene, and he married me and Billy there at the church on Pearl.
Oh, okay. So tell us how long you've been going to Belton Nazarene Church.
Probably about, since I was about 15, 16, I guess, after Mom married.
Okay.
Then we started coming over here with Grandma because Dad didn't go. So Mom would bring us over here and we'd go with Grandma.
Okay.
And then once Mom started getting Dad to go, we went to Memorial and Temple.
Oh, all right.
So it was either there or here.
Okay, so you're just going kind of back and forth. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But we were there, one place or the other.
All right.
Yeah.
Was it kind of one of those, whenever the church doors are open,
Yeah.
you're going to be there?
Yeah. Of course, I was active. I was in the choir and I sang. Memorial, their youth group would have singing, but they go to different churches to sing. So we'd go like to Corpus and we'd spend the night in the church and sing there and, just wherever they wanted us to come.
Yeah.
And we'd go and do that. And
okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of would put on a little concert and stay overnight there at the church. And was that fun? Did you enjoy that?
Oh, yeah. The churches would always put us up.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Was there anybody else that you can look back on your life and you think, man, if it hadn't been for them, my walk with Jesus just would not be what it is right now?
No, probably not. If it wasn't Grandma.
Okay.
Yeah. Making sure we did what we needed to do.
So encouragement to grandmas out there. Yeah. You have a great influence and you can do some good work out there. Keep up the good work, grandmas. All right. What have been like spiritual markers on your journey with Jesus? When you look back in your life, you're like, wow, that's where I really grew in my faith, or this really challenged my faith.
Probably when I was about 17, I graduated from high school because I started early. Okay. So I skipped the second grade.
Man, are you just an overachiever?
Yeah, I just have to do something. But when I was 17, they diagnosed me with liver disease, PSC, and said I'd had 10 years to live. Well, back then, they wasn't doing transplants like they do now.
Okay.
And so whenever they told me I had 10 years to live, surprisingly, I wasn't mad at God. I was mad at the doctors. Like, how
it was their fault?
Yeah. Well, I was like, how can you tell me I've got 10 years to live? Only God knows how long I'm going to live.
Did you say that to them?
No.
You thought it, though?
Yeah, I thought it. Yeah.
All
yeah.
Right. That's fair.
But I think at that time, I had it in my mind I only had 10 years to live. So I kind of went crazy.
Oh.
I mean, I wasn't a party or anything, but I started going out to the bars, drinking, doing drugs, just whatever, anything and everything. And I kept thinking, well, I've only got 10 years to live, what difference does it make, Okay. Might as well do what I'm going to do. And then after I met Billy and we got married, we were both 21, I started going back to church again because I was getting him to go to church with me.
Oh.
And so we quit the drinking in the bar. He didn't do any of that. He worked on cars. You put him in the garage and he's happy.
Okay.
So, but it seems like I never got mad at God about it, and I really never got scared. It was kind of like, well, if that's what God's got for me, then that's what it is. Okay. Even now, as many times as I go to the hospital, I don't really get nervous or scared about it because I know that God's going to be there with me. And of course, I've got memory verses that I say to myself, and I trust you, Jesus, anytime I'm uncomfortable. And even when I'm in my hospital bed and you look up on the ceiling, you see your reflection, and I always, an angel, so, yeah, I've never really been scared about it, but to get that liver transplant, we had to have $125,000.
And when did that happen?
1989.
And you were how old then?
When I actually got the transplant, I was 32.
So you had to start working on it before because it was exorbitantly expensive.
Yeah. Between 17 and 32, I was what they called in remission.
Okay.
And I started getting real yellow and jaundice. So I would be in and out of the hospital. I'd even have my own apartment before I met Billy, and I'd get sick. I'd get out of the hospital, and Mom and Dad had moved me home. So, I always had somebody there to take care of me, watch over me. But yeah, we had to have $125,000, and of course the insurance was gone once you do the transplant. But the Bell County, oh my gosh, you don't know how many people you know till you need something. I was so sick that Hugh Shine sent somebody down with paperwork for me to fill out to get the approval so that I could be on some kind of program that from the time I had the transplant until January, I didn't have to pay anything.
Oh, wow.
It wouldn't help with the down payment, but I didn't. And I was surprised how many people I knew. I had the police escort when I went up there first time, and it was a false alarm. And my doctor was up there, my current boss was up there, and my two brothers and sister, they were, the whole family was there, and the liver was too big.
Oh, okay.
So it was a false alarm. We had to come back. And then about, 2 or 3 weeks later, I got real sick. So Billy put me in the back of the Jeep, and my friend Penny was back there with me, kind of keeping me calm. And so we went to Baylor, because I had a transplant at Baylor in Dallas. And we went there, and when I got there, they said I had adult respiratory syndrome. So they took me off the transplant list, because you're sick when you have the transplant, but you can't be that sick.
Okay, different kind of sick.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So they took me off the list, and I was there probably about 3 or 4 days. And then they called Billy and told Billy they had a liver for me. And Billy said, why can you have a liver for me? She's there. Y'all have got her, Uh-huh. And they said, oh, we put her back on the list an hour ago. So after being on the list an hour, I got a liver.
Oh, wow. Because most people, you have to wait a long time for a transplant.
Yeah, I waited probably 5, 6 years to get one, because I was small.
Okay.
And you have to have a certain blood type and stuff like that.
There's a lot of factors to you can't just plug and play.
Yeah. But like I said, I never was scared, ever. Of course, the church anointed me. I came up here and we did anointments, stuff like that, a lot of prayer meetings and stuff. But I wasn't really scared. But I just keep thinking now about all the doors that God opened.
Right.
He got the community to help us raise the money. We had people giving us escorts to Dallas so we could get there within a certain period. And then being off the list and getting back on, it was, and I haven't had no trouble with liver, none.
That is incredible.
Everything else.
It's been how many years since
33.
33 since you got the transplant.
Yeah.
And then when you got the transplant, did they say it'll last like so long, or you should expect?
No.
They didn't. Okay.
They're pretty strict about it, and I don't follow rules very good. And so when they send you home, at first I had to take this oily stuff and mix it with milk twice a day. That's your anti-rejection medicine.
Oh, okay.
Then it changed to a pill that I had to take twice a day. And now, fortunately, I'm just down to 1. And it's just a 0.05 milligram. But when you get out of the hospital, they tell you don't take any over-the-counter drugs, don't do nothing, no aspirin, no nothing, without calling them and asking them, hey, I've got a cold, can I take this? I just did it.
Okay.
If I had a cold, I took my Alka-Seltzer Plus, and it was, done with. Of course, when you have a transplant, you have to do blood work once a month. But now I do it if they want me to. It's just random.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 33 years in, still going strong.
Oh, yeah.
And not that you have not had your challenges.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, you basically had your own suite at the hospital and just check in, check you out, back in, back out. You brought up something very interesting, though. You said, when I'm in the hospital, when I'm uncomfortable, I just have some memory verses that I rely on. So if I'm just somebody out in the world, I barely know about the Bible. How do you describe a memory verse? And then will you share one of those verses with us?
Yeah, I always do Proverbs, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. And then anytime I'm not comfortable or agitated, I'll just say, I trust you, Jesus. I trust Jesus. Yeah.
You get agitated?
Yes.
Even as a Christian, you get agitated?
Yeah, especially when you're in the hospital and you got all these people poking at you.
And you never get to sleep because they come in every 17 minutes to check some other metric that they forgot about.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So a memory verse is just memorizing a portion of Scripture, and it's there when you need it.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't want to be crude, but it's a bullet in your gun. I mean, it's the aspirin that Mom always has in her purse when you have a headache.
Right, yeah.
It's just there and ready. So how do you memorize that? I mean, if it's hard for somebody, how would you encourage them to just plant a verse in their heart?
But most of the verses I learned when I Sunday school and church, because I don't want to say it's repetitious, but if you've gone to Sunday school and church a long time, the stories are the same. They may mean different things at different times,
sure,
but you hear them, and when you hear them all the time, they just kind of stay with you.
Just become part of your story too, don't they?
Yeah.
Wow. So I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's a very practical thing that people can do. They can memorize things. This is just out of left field here, so it wasn't on our list. So if someone is scared, you said you weren't scared very often. That wasn't an emotion that you encountered throughout all your life. If someone was scared, what would you give them a Bible verse about not being scared, or to comfort them?
Yeah, like I said, I just always say, I trust you, Jesus. Just, whatever's going to happen, it's going to happen. You don't have control. Jesus is one in control. And I think as long as you realize that, and the sooner you realize that, your life's a lot easier, because you're not out there fighting a battle against everything.
Yeah, we like control, don't we?
Yes.
And we have much less control over what we think we have. Oh, well, that's good. That's very encouraging. Well, the name of this podcast is called People in Progress, because we're not done yet. God hadn't just finished us up and taken us on. He's always shaping us, molding us. In my case, reteaching me a lot. Is there anything that God's been teaching you lately? Last week, last couple of years, last month?
Well, probably the last 4 years since Mom had her stroke, I'm having to learn patience. And I'm not very good at patience, but now that I've been taking care of her longer, it's not that hard to be patient. Because I'd get mad when I'd hear the same thing over and over, Okay. Like, you already told me that. But now it doesn't bother me. I just to do it. And that's the hardest thing is patience. You just got to let it go. I kind of think if it's not a life or death situation, leave it alone. It don't matter.
It's just not that big of a deal.
No, yeah, so, and arguments, there's no sense in doing arguments. Life's too short, and I think about that all the time with Mom. I think, she don't remember a lot, and she'll get aggravated at stuff that she can't remember. But I think, she's not going to be here forever. So it's a privilege for me to get to be there with her every day.
Right. Well, that's a great perspective to have too. And that really changes how you're going when you go, because you guys live right next door to each other, for y'all that don't know. And so you're readily available. You're over there quite a bit. And You're doing, Linda, what you're doing is you're keeping one of the great commandments, and that is honoring your mother.
Yeah.
And
I mean, she'll call me 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
okay, so she's a night owl.
Well, it's something, if her diabetic alarm goes off, she'll call, and I don't know what to do. Well, she can't hardly see because she's got that macular degeneration. And so, like I said, growing up, we lived in the country. I lived next door to where I grew up. Well, back there, you could count the cars that came down the street. Well, now it's like a traffic jam.
Right.
So I would get up, put on my robe, walk across the field, and Billy was getting on to me the other day that with all the traffic and the apartments behind us, I need to drive over there.
Oh, okay.
Instead of just walking across the field.
A couple hundred yards.
Yeah,
Right.
and I don't think about it because that's where I was raised.
Sure,
know?
yeah, it's just been home for as long as you remember.
Yeah, forever. So, but patience is hard to do.
I think what you said was important to note, though. It wasn't just like one day you didn't have any patience, and then you woke up the next morning and you just were full of it.
Yeah.
You just, what I heard you say was, God just gradually grew that and developed that in me.
Yeah, and he keeps teaching me new stuff, I'm always surprised at the doors that he opens and stuff like that, especially when you're not expecting it, So, like me retiring, quitting work, well, he hadn't planned for it.
Okay.
And, so it was only build his income, but Grandma always told us we had to give to the church,
Okay.
Give to the church first. So we always gave to the church. Even during the time I was sick and we were raising money, we still gave to the church.
Goodness.
And we had an organization that was helping us manage our money, but we put that on our budget that was part of our bills. So, you got to be faithful.
Right. Have you? So money's kind of a touchy issue for some people.
Yeah.
Because like we talked about before, we like to have control.
Yeah.
So you just start out like that. You budget that first, like you're giving your tithes and offerings to the church.
Yeah, I do, and like I've heard several people say, they always are thinking on that month, where am I going to get the money to pay something, or I'm going to run short on money. And it seems like, I don't know, you pay your tithes and offerings first, the money's there when you need it. You might get an unexpected check in the mail or, just something.
Right.
So I'm not a money warrior.
So you just not, well, see, that's an encouragement to somebody out there, because there's a lot of people just wringing their hands like, oh man, what's going to happen? But what you're telling me is that God's just always been faithful to you.
Yeah.
And because of that, you've been faithful to him.
Yeah, and you can't, for a little while I always thought I had to repay God for, saving my life, doing the stuff he does. And then I realized, God's going to love you no matter what. Okay. And, if you've got an obstacle in front of you, it's probably something that he either put there or knew that was there, and he's not going to just put you out there and leave you.
He doesn't leave you hanging.
No, he's going to be right there with you and open whatever doors need open.
Yeah. Well, I know when some people listen to this, they're going to hear that part and they're going to be like, you know what? God help me hold on. That's going to be an encouragement to me. So anything else you want to share with people before we wrap up here in just a moment?
No, I'm pretty good. Just hang in there.
Hanging in there.
Hang in there and do what you're supposed to do.
Well, Linda, thank you so much for taking your time to sit down with me today and to share with people who will listen to this. You have been such an absolute blessing to me and to my family and to this church. Not only have you been Nazarene Missions International president, you've taught caravans, kids Sunday schools, kids Wednesday nights. You've taken kids on, ski trips, on youth groups, years ago. You're just part of the fabric of this church, and kind of I would even say like a spark plug. Like you keep us going, keep us on the right track. And so it's just an honor to have you at the church, to be at the same church together. And I just love you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Linda, I appreciate you and love you and your family. Just a couple fun questions. Do you have a favorite ice cream?
Yes.
What?
Cherry vanilla.
Cherry vanilla.
Yeah, vanilla with the cherries in it, yeah.
Okay. Is it a certain brand that you like? Or?
No, not really.
Nope. Okay. Like I'm blue. Is it Blue Bonnet?
It's probably like a Walmart or H-E-B or what.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Right on. Are you a pizza kind of gal?
Yes, I love pizza.
All right. So this is a yes or no answer. You ready? Pineapple on pizza. Yes or no?
Yes.
That was a fast yes.
Yes.
I like it too, but some people are like, absolutely not. You should not have pineapple on pizza. Okay, that's good. You shared a Bible verse with us, Proverbs 3:5. Is there a favorite Bible story that you have?
I'm like all the little kids, Jonah in the well.
Jonah in the well, okay.
Yeah, Jonah getting swallowed by the well, and then God spits him back out. And, yeah.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Okay. Well, that is all that I have for us today. Thank you again, Linda, for sitting down with us. And I know that this episode is going to encourage everybody to live like Jesus every day. So thank you again, Linda. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of People in Progress. If you'd like more information on Belton Nazarene Church, you can go to belton.church for our website. Or if you'd like to share your story on the podcast, please email Pastor Derek at derek@belton.church to set up a time. We are so glad you checked out this episode of People in Progress because it is another way that we get to encourage each other to live like Jesus every day. Lastly, we are confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.